brown robe, Si-Klon, about to reconstruct the Arctic scroll. Burnt in a fire pit by the Mohawks during a winter storm that froze every lake and stream here in upstate New York. Stampedes of megafauna scatter behind the light of an ultraviolet nuclear bursting gamma ray that crystallizes the polar apex with lava-colored horror. An amplified obscurity vividly seen from the borealis quadrangle of Mercury, while 15 emerald green beings emanate from the lake of blood flooded with dreams, calibrated to contain cascades of intrinsic unexplainable mitochondrial DNA, predestined to raise the last mastodon from its grave.
They capsize those in a wave, frozen between states. Fragile hatred turn back into love again, rebirth through deep resurgence. Rescue mission for the surges. Who's got time to be here living verses? As earth merges, it goes about its furtherance, colliding with impermanence and the scope of Uranus. The server blanks, I go inside the missing data bit. There's a lot to learn on a ladder of what hasn't happened yet.
One instant sunset gravitates the quantum currents in a nursery where death is mechanically manipulated by privileged strains painted into an equation of arithmetic, stirred by the pathos of an ancient ritualistic instrument, guarded by the living gods known as the legendary hound, portrayed in the underground chambers of the Burial Mound, where exotic mirrors are found facing the stalagmite diagram, inscripted with photographs of an advanced historic past.
It's vivid overcast outside, the sun is elsewhere. The sun in the steps to a realm to me who dwells there. Harness and breath to dispel, compressed there, held there, suspended between death and a lens flare. His thoughts are pulling tight, they dissolve in twilight. Trail of breadcrumbs from his soul leads his eyesight, from pyrite through unlit and dark night, back again to eminence, irreverent for mind's heights. Forever is infinite, you can't cling it to you. Lose yourself in the ocean, you might just swim through. Don't think to let it flow like the rippling to and from the shores. He soars above oblivion.
With the obsidian stone holds the immortal source beneath the catacombs, torn with encoded chords, adorned with unremorseful oracles of unpredictable archaic tales of a mystical age devoured by egotistical behavior confined in the physical genome of human parasites. Without them, paradise uncovers from its skies, stripping the blindfolded eye, never opened above that folds them with medicinal potions that replicate ritual notions.
We straight levitate off the photons, holy doses, golden blowguns set to open the enclosures. My totems form the forest of several moments, shape-shifting true soldier watching through his severed poem. In the castle of his inner life, used to have a sicker knife, but it ain't nothing nice. My rituals turn to oaths that turn the prism light, shining through the branches, shade off the weight of my mic. I am the wind of my breath, living inside this bird nest. Try to cure himself to make himself less perplexed. Her affects me more to him than all the autumn tinge. She's caught up in her wings, but that's a good thing, affirmative.
Like being inside an abandoned palace, surrounded by cliffs that vanish behind cloudless skies, enclosed in an elaborate landscape covered with eroded, highly thunderbolted glaciers that were broken by distant astrodial forces.
Portal vortex through a door in the cortex, a long corridor to restore the altar of his oracle. For sure, it's allegorical, subtle rumble you can hear when you're more humble. Lord of the ensemble,
outlaw fate.
When they bilocate, when the eyes turn to eights and the words
create yours in a safe.
Night out, taking the day.
Trees assimilate
all the crystals in his hidden frame.
Cultivating a subtle process, Vata Skrivunda. She dreamed into conception, a talented mind, reading habitual thinking, an intuitive balance secreted, never depleted, inner sanctum of karmic remission.
A true magician always keeps his home hidden.
The greatest trick he does is shield himself from his own vision.
A true magician always keeps his home hidden.
Lone on his mission, he roams through no ignorance. He's on some magic steps that lead him wherever the heck he wants. Through heavy hearts, making pine for them empty carts, connecting dots between his fleshy parts, right lines to try and untie the many knots with his mind. And the tip of some darts in mid-flight, he gets joy in his arts. No parlor trick stars congregate on his words, all just waiting for what might come next. Don't disappoint them, anxious for the ancients. If you can't see though, it's vacant. Double-edged statement, meant for saving faces. Same shit, but a whole new perspective. I told you where they kept it, even showed you how to detect it. Not as expected, that's what they tell me so many times now. I think it must be projected. He'll take a beat, then get lost in its harmonies. His worries cease, an enormous calm sees his arteries, or it's collective, and I stand corrected. If I have been on some next shit, it's introspective and not meant to suggest it. With dialectic, that's invented, but I hope it's been contemplative. I find effectiveness congruent with my footsteps. Imprints, hidden gems, give him a sense of gratitude for the absent school that went behind the pattern with the jewel to the sacred pool. Fame is cruel, name is something tied to a spool. Boundless fools found them drowned in the fountain of youth. Hours of towers of flowers shouting out empowerments. Now it never blends a zenalist. How a man,
a true magician always keeps his home hidden.
Lone on his mission, he roams to no admittance.
A true magician always keeps his home hidden.
The greatest trick he does is shield himself from his own vision.
As particles of dust correlate with the naked brilliance of the night sky, they emanate a cadence of native ecosystems known to eliminate invasive hibernated interference, caged in the primordial oasis. They contain immortal, biomolecularly colorful, abnormal epigenetic waves that radiate in a circular binary motion to form anthropomorphic signatures that sequence with morphologically disfigured mirrors, reconfigured to resonate in the tremendum mysterium, composed by a consortium of grotesque guardians that harvest various mycelium colonies and cement them to the principal fiber that controls linguistic expression using granite pendants discovered deep underneath the rainbow of the Sphinx, where a demigod king hung his 3 sons and removed their tongues in a unique method that would induce their consciousness to leave but resurrect unnoticeably without the biological limits given to those who inevitably refuse to be self-disciplined. A true magician always keeps his home hidden in the center of his circle, wrapped in a turbulent linen, detached from those who contradict his wishes. These were the instructions that were precisely written on the walls of the cognitive hallway where his offspring was destined to witness a dramatic convergence they inherited long before their existence was the result of a formula that would provoke the Galilean moons to burn and brutally divert the metallic electric surge in Jupiter's interior to exert tornadoes as large as the Earth. A true magician always keeps his home hidden in the center of his circle, wrapped in a turbulent linen, detached from those who contradict his wishes. Detached from those who contradict his wishes. Paddles across the still and silent white lights, a golden glory's the last vessel through several pleasant flights until we reach the place of fright where a ferocious venomous hell lion feeds off the blood that eagerly leaps from every orifice on our faces to then compel lethargic, horrific, melancholic discharge that spills into a melodic apparatus that produces exotic paradoxes that lead us to contest the hypnosis with malevolent discontent antics that disconnect the navel from the desolate weightlessness until my stomach convulses and I vomit the venom, then wake up RpM by suspending his robe on the upper pendulum. Where the rhythm of a drum propels us through a transparent prism, far from the vicious algorithm that diminished our omniscience ability to synthesize the seance and no longer be held captive as we approach the unattractive pandemonium of the arachnid. Our fragile canoe crashes into the waves of a web-like channel, enveloped and entangled. My arms and legs are mangled into a Malibu texture with different types of biennial strides, an incomprehensible design that keeps the adventure alive.
Yo, what the? I'm just resting my eyes, everything's fine. My tripwire isn't tripping, there ain't nothing slipping by. Mad alert inside, by my watch not confide. In him I do confide, make friends with your mind. Time will be on your side if you need a guide. Let it be selected wise, live well without jeopardize. Those ones gathered are arriving, give voice to what's arising. Akashic vibrance in the sky is mine, and for silver lining findings I've been diving since before we came on board and swivel them oars. I'm in bliss when I'm outdoors, less chords in the forest.
More time to explore the wormhole behind the door that can only be decoded by reading the keyhole with the sword that controls the laws of the golden ratio, allowing the flux of time that forms within a minute embryo to expose its beauty beautiful glare in the mausoleum where a red-tailed female hawk soars in the air to provoke unmitigated fear through the nerves of those who dare enter to cleanse their spinal cord with the rare impaired, rekindled flame that flares like the hair of a solar splinter, in tone with the quiet whisper to awaken us from a rigor mortis after drowning us in a river, fluent with predetermined outcomes that eradicate the vermin and recalibrate the burden bestowed upon each person.
Turn and give them this learning. His world's yearning, diversions reoccurring, known immersion. The first thing's the trust, needed to pour out the cup, fill it back up, drop some mouth that adds up. Spell love, cold frost, not old enough to know of laws. Don't focus flaws, goes toast when you call his bluff. Holding off the tide of thought that comes with revelation. Brave as featherweight and thinking unsayable hymns that underlie all things. Beats the same in our skin, lean back to far in. Deep gas snorkeling, forest could never border him. Unfaltering, deep pock, immortal bling. Gone through the eye of the needle, your eye becomes an eagle, soaring high over the steeple. Motorbike beneath Knievel, keynote behold, meditating to the soul under a tree above and below. What does he know? Make his ascent with a geo fragment from a street bench or creep piece in secret, connecting the speech at each end, uploading the most recent.
Every morning and every night, some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to sweet delight. Some are born to endless night.
I really don't understand.
But I understand, William Blake.
Decorated with the crown made from the feathers of a horned owl to keep the loud sounds from my thoughts from turning around, and disavowing the senses that allow me to connect my footsteps to the circular stone conundrum designed to deflect any intended tension, attempting to haunt the outskirts of an inverted avenue where every word is heard by those who allow the green hue spectacle to harpoon your experience to a find some place of stillness, unconsumed by the social cybernetics that document your every move into programs where your attitudes and beliefs are groomed to please and amuse the depraved epidemic that splits the mercurial fire and enriches the quadrant to give you a concentric horizon where you command the orchard to fluidly go in the direction you are yearning to forage. There is no shortcut, only miles of crimson colored treetops that cannot be the trail as you continue to walk under its stunning evergreen lungs, consolidated by the northern obelisk of order, where many streams flutter attractively to charm the birds beating their wings seamlessly with the wind swaying a turbulent hymn. When the mundane order walks out of the constricted enclosure, we can either obtain an unlimited amount of horror, or we can cross over to wander in the unexplored virgin primordial water, where our blasted splendor is known to demolish mediocre doctrines and take them further than the birthplace where our DNA was first discovered.
Others tried to hover over his shoulder. He took cover scrolls that he holds up beyond additive numbers. An amber shadow through his inkwell, light reveal. He sees the field in a single mental reel. Water for the potter's wheel, brown on his cotton twill, harnessing uncommon zeal. Robe cook a proper meal from the outer reaches, floating albatross sneakers, counting green things when her eyes jump in sequence. Further than curvature, the earth is what you see as so. Lord knows, bow down, powerful obstacles, chop and pull on his lunar rover, blown out till the room is over. Acumen noble, dome is global, but robe also from the same vein, never so beyond Rain Man, missed with an ancient game plan. He say what the teachers say, but who teach the teacher? Don't be too eager to appeal the sleepy teacher's age. There's no reason to leap if you're led out of your context. It's not a contest, stay put till God says.
When the mundane order walks out of the constricted enclosure, we can either obtain an unlimited amount of horror, or we can cross over to wander in the unexplored virgin primordial water, where our blasted splendor is known to demolish mediocre doctrines and take them further than the birthplace where our DNA was first discovered.
cease to reflect. Where are you?
Wormhole Owlchemy. Every shape in this desiccant landscape we sensitively as the fabrics imbued with mirages, altered sediment, deadly stormings. In the water, this caverns where springs are implanted by a golden pearl that sits on a string and swings to guide the blue blood and nectar. Once every season as the tears of an elder storyteller resurfaces below the shelter layers of a weathered altar where promises are lacerated in a graceful manner to formulate the great pentagram of the magi until the illness is sterilized and my foresight is subdivided into a sacrifice to assist with the engagements of wonder like a leaf in October. If it says it suits its structure and allows an infallible ease for breeze to unravel beyond the embellished utterance conjured during a tranquil experiment where in the midst of the morning suffuses at the bottom of your lungs with a toxic amount of oxygen to induce a hyperrupture as you lay by a jagged ridge overlooking a savanna. The question is simple: would you rather stay in this paradigm or return to another chapter? You are a traveler, and this Vader maker only here to help you glimpse into the subterranean abyss of your unconscious bliss. And like an eclipse, these words are nothing more than a temporary gift.
All reflect each other. Can I carry this across the void of the soul touch? Control my robe against the cold at my bone depths. One who looks outside dreams when within awakes. The puppet show on the wall in the cave, what's at stake? Dualistic vision, illusion itself splits it. Shadow walking down the hall, somebody the mystic. Beyond self-interest, continuum always now. No distance in a spiral, just timeless sovereign hours. Coming into being, a stencil born of emptiness. Trapped inside a temple for centuries, cause he never is conscious. Intelligent, inner energy renews an effortless exodus from futile pursuits. We toil endless for tomorrows that never come. On God's breath he swung from a factory of severed sons. The struggle of magicians is not worldly bliss. The absurdity of this, the sooner he comes to grips, he'll realize the thread in his hand, the ladder at his feet. It doesn't matter where he is, his mind's out of the galaxy. For a while all they heard was something blasphemous. They never asked me, I said it's you. Actually a rose may hide a thorn in its beauty. Don't grab it, see, admire as it is. Its fragrance pierces the gravity. Fighting for peace, shouting for silence, war again. He was caught in his thoughts and took a sword to the head. What is more than death? Is he morbid? What does he mean? Why can't he just speak normal? The lines you read between one half can't exist without the other. It's love, uncover the rudder. You have suffered enough.
They took hold of great power but couldn't wield it. They put it on an altar, you'll see it is for healing. His purpose will come, but first let it be.
If you want it was spoken for, you might make enemies. I imagine still, you're just using your mind. He's still just a vessel for a heart that's divine.
The hidden mirrors actually inform our lives more than the ones that are visible. They are unseen because for most people they are not fully illuminated by consciousness.
There will be a price to pay if the race is forfeited.
Words can be weaponized, so check when you step inside. Clear, study, memorize, make memories energize. Remember, never mind, mesmerize with another time when applied to the westernized paradigm. Dreams really ever find compartmentalized to be strong against the stellar tides. He knows he's being mechanized, systematic habits attracted, hidden facets of past tense without the accent. Ghost lyrics, you cannot capture it. The meaning escapes him, created the birth of a matrix. Why he say this? Patience, steady cadence, making some radiance, cause it may once be waiting us. Land surveyor, answers from his mansion layer in a handsome chair, posted up in the rarer air for the added care. And I honor their requests as I step the first step that lead onward on this search quest. just a second. His method accepted the flow and ebbeth, like headed the epic, directed extended effects. Watching how it reflects, mapping the grid with success, protecting the records until it needs to be reinvented. The piece rested, it's no need to go get a coat. It's cold out there when you leave it up to a vote.
They only love what they see. No, I must ask the great Oracle for his help.
Yeah. A spectral panoramic awareness crosses the bridge embedded with droplets that emanate from the abyss with air elements. Been clouds that shimmer, 3 rays of gold through the fingers that caress the edges of a splendid shoreline fortified with rigorous cliffs that condense the film of light into its scent and murkiness. Unlike the affinity of an oblique drum pattern that fluctuates rhymes and ripples them across the tunnels of your mind as an expressive visage. So capture the beneficent human urges that resist the vivid reality we live in, where common sense is taken for granted, while the imaginary is defied for withstanding any attachments. If every action has an equal and opposite reaction, what will happen when I introduce my blade into the sanctum of the cosmogonic novels imagined by those devoted to constructs that consolidate the stoic stigmata susceptible to a nostalgia that can never properly prosper without first being harmonized? Everything orbits to connect, even when it's magnified. It's the reason why we've decided to not know where we are headed, cause in the end we are nothing more than just a memory reckoned to when they return to its original cohesive epicentral surrender, where hunger for hope is known to corrode and weather, until it perpetually becomes an unfamiliar letter that'll forever be lost in the Athenium of the penumbral elder.
Real dude.
Maybe he has come to his senses.
He's almost gone. Where is he?